Welcome back to the Herbalist Hour. Today I'm really excited to have on Leanne Hatfield. Welcome to the show, Leanne.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Herbalist Hour. This is where community gather, merging the power of people and the flowers, the sweet and the bitter to the salty, the sour. Umami, it's time for the Herbalist Hour.
So where are we?
We are at our farm, Seeds Spores Family Farm. We're in Marquette, Michigan, actually about 12 miles south of Marquette, Michigan. And yeah, I can see out over, see some hoop houses and some veggie fields. And
Yeah, we came from downtown Marquette, which we're falling in love with this town. We love it here. And you said, enjoy the drive on your text. And I knew right then and there that it was going to be a beautiful drive, which it absolutely was, down Mangum Road, which you said was recently paved. But yeah, just gorgeous. Like the trees were just glowing, orange and yellow and all the colors. I'm colorblind, but I still was able to really take it in and really love it. So what do y'all do here at Seeds Spores Family Farm?
well, we do lots of things. We grow about 5 acres of produce. We have 12 hoop houses. We raise exclusively grass-fed beef. We have pasture-raised pork. We have some pasture-raised laying hens. We do a little bit of small-scale mushroom cultivation and culinary medicinal herbs.
Yeah, I remember when we first started communicating, I didn't know what we were going to see you at the Great Lakes Herb Fair, but that was kind of like a sweet surprise. You were explaining to me that the herb side was more of like, say, your hobby, but are you actually growing and selling medicinal herbs?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I say it's more of my hobby because the rest of the farm is kind of what we do on a day-to-day basis. We have, during the summer, we have like 7 employees that are coming and helping us. But all of the medicinals is my side gig, and it's kind of been a slow and gradual process, but each year I do a little bit more, and this is a small rural community, and it takes a little while for things to kind of catch on, but yeah, it's really enjoyable, and our land is incredibly biodiverse, so I've learned so much, and I've found so much between our riparian zone and woods and fields and the hoop houses. We have all these little micro ecosystems. And so a lot of the things that I do work with are just growing here.
Sure.
Which is really helpful.
Yeah, it makes it easier. Yeah, nature's just handling it for you. So you say like nettle and mullein and stuff like that?
We
or
have a lot of nettles. We have a lot of mullein. You know, like shepherd's purse, like we have pastures of red clover. We grow oats as a cover crop, so I can harvest milky oats and oat straw just from that. And yeah,
nice.
And we're botanical sanctuary.
I saw that,
So,
United Plant Savers.
Yeah, we have a lot of really cool things that are just growing. And so then when I'm planting things, I always am kind of looking at that list and just trying to establish more of those species.
Do you have an example of one of the species?
We have a lot of bloodroot.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Which is just so fun in the spring, how beautiful that is. I've got a couple different patches. I have like black cohosh. We've got valleys full of leeks of the ramps, which I think is pretty new to the list. But if you were
to the UPS list?
Yeah, but if you were to go for a walk in the spring, you wouldn't, think it was endangered, here.
Right. Ground cover or something?
It's just all over.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've, echinacea species and arnica species and things like that are on the list that I'm just introducing, but a lot of things are already growing here.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of trilliums and
oh, beautiful. I haven't seen a trillium yet since being out here.
Oh,
Lady slippers too? Those are the beautiful orchids. Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of medicinal herbal products are you making with these?
I make a lot of tinctures because that is a really great way just to preserve things, and I make a lot of tea blends, some different salves. This year I've started making some what I call elixirs, which are tinctures blended with herbal infused honey.
Nice.
That I get from neighbors whose honeybees are all over the farm all summer.
So you don't do honey here yourself, then?
We are not. We did not this year. We do sometimes have hives.
Oh, awesome.
We always have one available that if there's a swarm,
Yeah.
then we can, capture a swarm and or people will bring us a swarm.
Nice.
We used to do more of that.
Okay.
We're trying to make things a little more sustainable.
For
we have
sure.
a very short, intense growing season up here.
Yeah,
It's so
I would imagine.
north.
Yeah.
That
So why don't we go down memory lane a little bit? I'd love to hear about like the early days of Seeds and Spores Farm. And I read in your bio, the About Us page on your website, which, can you remind me what it is? Seedsandspores.com?
seedsandspores.com.
All right, lovely. We'll include
Which
a
we
link.
haven't read that bio probably for 10
Oh,
years, so I
okay.
hope it's okay.
Oh no, it was a fun little story. But basically, you were saying in the bio, you were saying you started small, and then you just learned along the way. So I was just kind of curious, what were the early days like, and then maybe kind of take us to the present day.
Sure. My husband, Jeff, who you met, we went to college together and kind of started getting interested in food and food politics back in the day, and really wanted to eat good food. And we learned a lot about food being, along the way. And when I was in medical school, he started growing some food, very small scale. We started experimenting with, we knew we were going to live somewhere in the north probably. And he, in the little house we rented, he set up a organic hydroponic system just to see how that would go. But we quickly realized that we really needed the earth to grow food. So yeah, it was a slow progression. We moved to Marquette in '97, and I did a family practice residency here. And the first piece of land we bought actually had been my grandfather's. And that's where we started inoculating a lot of shiitake logs. We tried a lot of medicinal herbs and failed miserably in those first bits. There was an apple orchard there, and those were the first gardens. And that's, we ended up having to sell that property to buy this farm. And it's just kind of been a slow progression along the way. We've definitely decided to diversify so that we could sell everything locally.
Yeah.
So everything that we're growing here is going right into the community, which has kind of been our goal.
Just a quick break from the show to thank our presenting sponsor, Oshala Farm. Oshala Farm is a beautiful and vibrant certified organic herb farm based in Southern Oregon, where they grow and sell over 80 different plant species. The founders, Elise and Jeff Higley, have been longtime friends, so I highly trust their growing methods and ethics. You'll love the potency and vibrancy of all the herbs they have to offer. To learn more and purchase their herbs and other organic goods, head to oshalafarm.com. So thanks once again to Oshala Farm for sponsoring the Herbalist Hour. Now back to the show. Enjoy.
Are you Dr. Hatfield?
I am.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
That's my party trick.
Do you still practice on occasion?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I still have a
That's your party trick? I like that. That's funny. Yeah, I don't think I read that about you anywhere.
No, well,
so
that's
awesome.
it's just not something that I...
Dr. Farmer.
Yeah, I actually worked in a family practice clinic for 10 years after I finished my residency here, and then I stopped to be more full-time on the farm and be with the kids and homeschooled them, and so now I do still see patients, but they come to my office on the farm.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing the journey. Pre-interview, you and Jeff were talking about your relationship with the food co-op around here, and I was kind of thinking the audience would find that interesting as well, how you kind of grew together.
So one of the, when we were looking for a place for me to attend a residency, we wanted to, at that point, we knew we wanted to grow food, and we wanted to go somewhere to a community where we wanted to stay.
Yeah.
And at the time, there was this little Marquette food co-op, and that was on our list of things that we needed in a town.
Yeah.
And when we first started, we could sell them 1 box of produce per week, and that was a tiny little co-op. We were certified organic, and then it has slowly grown since then. Both Jeff and I were on the board at the time, and he helped manage one of the first expansions, and they've been a huge supporter of us. And now you're going to get to go there
Yeah,
today, and
I'm
you'll
excited.
be able to check
Yeah.
out how big the produce department is.
Is it more than
there.
one box worth?
Lots and lots of boxes. And you'll get to actually see when we go back down, because we're packing an order for them today.
Oh,
nice.
nice.
I can show you, like, oh, this is what we're bringing to them today.
Totally. That'd be awesome.
And then, yeah.
Yeah, so stay tuned, dear listener. We're going to go on a farm tour here in a bit. So, but before we do that, you all, I want to say, used to be certified organic, and now you have organic practices. I'm just kind of curious if you could tell the audience why you chose not to be certified organic anymore, and just that whole explanation.
Sure, yeah. I think it's a great question, because to be certified organic, it takes a lot of paperwork and a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if we would have chosen to want to sell our products elsewhere, I think that would have been continuing to be an important thing.
Yeah.
But, it became our mission right away. Like, oh no, we're going to grow what we can sell here in this community. Yeah. And we're very transparent about what we do. And, we've been at the farmers markets now for 25 years. People know us. They know what we do. They know the quality. They know the energetics of the food. And so we dropped that certification. And another reason, when we first were certified organic, there was more structure to it. Yeah. And now you can be certified organic and not really have the same organic practices. Yeah. So, Jeff likes to say we're beyond organic. We dabble with some, biodynamics. Sure. We do a lot of regenerative type things. We make a lot of compost. And so we have a constant, nutrient supply that we're producing that we can, add back in. And, and we were certified naturally grown for a while. That was like a little intermediary, and that's a smaller certification.
Is it easier to acquire as well?
It's easier to acquire, and it's farmer to farmer certified. So another certified naturally grown farmer would come to your farm, and then you had to go to a different farm. But there aren't that many up here, and most people just didn't know what it meant. Yeah. So we were kind of trying to support this fledgling. This is but we kind of just don't do any of that. Yeah. And some of it, we're running this farm and there's a lot to do, and we just talk to the people.
Good. Yeah, and I hope that didn't sound like a gotcha question. No. Or I totally love that you don't need to be certified organic, because at this point it's just the brand is so well received in the community that everyone already knows the quality of farming that you all do. So why even bother at that point?
Yeah, and I think that the herb stuff is newer to a lot of people, but they're kind of catching on to that as well. Yeah. And I mean, as you know, there's a lot of not very high quality herbal products being sold or imported,
but marketed incredibly well.
And it makes it hard to market because we're not a glossy farm.
Right. Yeah.
And it's hard to compete with those advertising dollars or those types of fancy labels or this and that. And, but it is getting a little more popular. Yeah. And we sell transplants too. We sell a lot of those in the spring. So, each year more people are asking me for medicinal transplants. And that's kind of a fun thing as well.
Awesome. Well, why don't we go take a look at the farm, check out what's happening here in mid-October.
Mid-October. We've had our first frost. Our growing season is, it can frost in mid-June. Yeah. This year it didn't. We say June 1st to October 1st is our growing season.
Okay. We'll have to come back and do a round two with you.
A round two when it's just in full bloom.
Exactly. Feel the buzz of the pollinators.
Oh my gosh, there's so many. If you're here on a summer day, you would not think that there's a pollinator issue.
Right.
And we've been here long enough that we've seen the increase in biodiversity right here on the farm, which is really rewarding to see how much healthier it is. This farm had been abandoned. It hadn't been farmed, I don't think, since the 70s.
Oh, wow.
And when we took it over, and so it's been pretty fun to watch that progression.
Absolutely. Let's check it out.
Yeah, let's go. So Yeah, it's Friday, so they're kind of getting ready. We've got farmers market tomorrow, and then we've got a co-op order. So we're bringing food to the Marquette Food Co-op. We're bringing food to the Lakeshore Depot.
Okay.
I don't know if you've heard of that
No.
little spot.
Okay.
It's a newer spot in town. And we're bringing salad mix to the Stein House and a couple other direct orders off of that Farmazon site that we were talking about. So, yeah, we're in the wash pack
Okay.
house, and this is where
This is
everything.
the final stop before the store.
This is the final stop. Everything's getting washed, organized, packed, put into the walk-in cooler, and then tomorrow we'll bring a trailer into town full of food.
Awesome.
It's all co-op stuff.
Yeah.
Beets, bok choy, carrots, fennel, parsley, kales, onions, peppers, potatoes.
It's so vibrant and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
All of it.
Yeah.
How many people do you have helping on a regular basis?
In the peak of the summer, there were 7 coming out daily, and now it's about 5.
Okay.
But like Rachel and Isabella went back to school at NMU, and so they're part-time now.
Nice.
This house here, this is our seed house. So in March, middle of March, we start heating this, and this is where all of our seeds are started.
Okay.
And one thing I learned when I really started planting more medicinal seeds is they're really hard to germinate, and they take a really long time. And so like they're in here next to other things that
Right.
like,
Bunch of gourds.
well, they just graduate, or they germinate so fast. Like when we're growing, like even a tomato seed or a kale seed, like they germinate so fast, and I'm just like watching and watching, like is something gonna happen? So
I've never heard that before. The medicinal seeds take much longer than other
much
food.
longer,
Okay.
a lot. And some of them, it's like if you plant a flat full of kale, they all germinate at the same time.
Yeah.
You plant ashwagandha, and it's like
One here, one there.
one here, and then a couple weeks later another. I mean, it takes a long time.
Okay. But that's where a lot of your
Yeah.
starts are.
So this
in
is,
there.
and then so this is where we start everything, and it's heated, and then this time of the year it gets used for sorting and storing winter squash and potatoes and garlic and
Is that
things
like a passion flower right there?
these are passion
Oh,
flowers.
nice.
Yeah,
They bloom ever?
they bloom every year.
Wow, that's a good
Lots
job,
of 'em.
herbalist.
And so obviously this is not passion flowers prime climate.
Right.
But what I do is I cut them back, and then I put them in the basement of this farmhouse and let them go dormant. And I've had those same vines for probably 6 years, and they bloom all the time.
Awesome.
And what I love about them is watching, like if you can tell when one's going to open. Have you watched one open?
No, I haven't.
Oh my gosh, it's so amazing. You can, if you time it right,
Yeah.
you can watch, and the whole thing opens in about like 3 minutes.
Whoa.
And it looks
Awesome to see.
alive. It's
Yeah.
just nuts.
Wow. Yeah, I've seen them bloom before a few times, but I've never seen
so-
it happen in real
Yes,
time.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that like a time of day thing? Is it like in the morning when the sun's coming out, or?
Yeah, usually midday.
Okay, midday.
Yeah.
All right. Sweet.
But it looks amazing. And then if you think about like frazzled nervous systems, and you watch
yeah.
it open, and you kind of see how it
Little doctrine of
unfrazzles,
signatures.
It's like, total doctrine of
I
signatures.
love that.
Yeah, and I'm trying to grow some Vitex. We're also a little north of where it wants to grow. So I have it in pots, and that also I just let go dormant.
Yeah.
Well, let's go say hi to the pigs.
Meandering, yeah.
So Jeff's a beautiful builder. He built like all of these.
Really? And that too.
Oh, yeah.
I was really admiring this one when I came in.
Yeah,
Looks
and
very
our
sweet.
house is a timber frame straw bale.
He built that?
Yep.
Wow.
And most of the lumber came off of the land. We have a
Yeah.
sawmill.
Okay. There he is now.
Mid-interview still?
Yeah, mid-interview. You're in the show.
Oh.
All right.
He also dressed like a farmer. Too.
Yeah, that's right. Good job building these places, these structures. Yeah, they're beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, there's a lot of solar back
There
here.
are a lot of solar panels.
Did he build this one too?
Yep.
Wow, that's so pretty.
Yeah, the waves.
Yeah, I love that.
Yep.
He gets artistic with it.
Yeah. But we'll see the.
You excited to see the pigs?
Yeah, they just.
Oh my God.
Let's see.
That's so cute.
Hey, where are your friends? They must be sleeping. Come on out.
Hi, buddy.
You're right. Jeff will get them to come out.
Okay. Oh yeah. Oh wow. It's like Pavlov's dog.
Yeah. So they're all.
What are the dangly things?
Those are wattles.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
Breed is called red wattle.
Really?
Yep.
Is there a purpose to them?
Nah,
I've never-
It's sort of like they call it a vestigial organ.
Okay.
You know.
It does probably have a purpose. We
Yeah.
just don't know.
Sure, yeah.
Oh my gosh, you guys are cute.
Some goats have it.
Okay.
You know. No other pig breed. There's a black wattle also.
That's a pig.
That's a
Yeah,
pig too.
yeah.
But then.
That's just them, but they're darker in color.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they're all born. They're born here
Yeah.
on the farm, and so yeah, we get to be vet. We
Yeah,
pig
pig whippery.
whippery definitely, and they get to
You can see
use
they
this
just
whole.
finished working over this whole section of land out here.
That's them munching on it, or?
That's them
Yeah.
just rooting
Yeah,
through
rooting through,
everything
yeah.
out there. I got 4 paddocks and they get one at a time.
You can see some of the cows out right out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
We'll go around. We can
Yeah.
walk around that way.
So do you kind of like move them around all over the land to kind
Yep.
of, yeah.
The cows are rotationally grazed. They graze on about an acre for 2 days.
Okay.
And so then I move them around the checkerboard of all my paddocks,
Yeah.
which is about 50 acres.
Okay. Wow.
And so they just went through lap 2 on
Okay.
all of the checkerboard.
Mm.
And lap 3 is real quick usually because there's not a lot of grass
Okay.
that has grown back after 2 grazings,
Sure.
depending on the weather.
Right.
So they're never in one spot for very long.
Yeah.
But doing that, we've watched our land transform. You know, the quality of our pastures have improved immensely.
I bet. It's all part of the system.
Yep.
Yeah.
Disturbance and rest.
I love that. Disturbance and rest.
It's our last hoop house.
Ah.
We're not playing. We're no more.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've had to like hoop houses have really saved us to grow food up here.
Sure, yeah.
You need it.
Keeps it nice and warm in there.
Stocking up on hay for
Yeah.
the cattle.
Yeah. Do you make the hay here?
No, we don't have enough property to graze the cattle and make hay.
Gotcha.
A lot of this hay actually comes from our neighbor up the road
Oh, okay.
and some other local farmers.
Nice.
And all of the grains that the pigs and chickens get, we've been getting from a farmer in Menominee.
Okay. Yeah.
And so we try and keep it as local as possible.
Sure.
And we buy it in bulk because that's the best way to get organic grains. Yeah. And then we have a grinder mixer.
Mm-hmm.
And so then Jeff can actually mix the feed fresh on the farm and add all kinds of minerals and probiotics and kelp and that kind of stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, we've got lots of blackberries kind of all in through there.
Are those ones you planted, or were they?
Those
just
were
here?
actually here.
Yeah.
These are all raspberries.
Oh yeah.
And there's like golden and black and blush and red. And those we did plant here.
I'm loving all the milkweed out here in the Midwest.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I have a theory about the milkweed.
Yeah.
There used to be a lot of milkweed over on the other side over here. And I have a lot of the pleurisy root, butterfly weed, that I planted and was growing here. And I'd always notice all the monarch larvae were here and not on the actual milkweed. And since that time, the milkweed started moving over here. I think they're moving over to get closer to the
the monarchs.
I don't know. Maybe not.
I like that. No, I buy it.
You
So you're
know.
saying plants have intelligence, maybe?
Oh, duh.
Yeah, I don't ever really remember seeing too much of this out in Oregon, so it's been
Yeah.
awesome to see
No,
so much out here.
It's really great. So a lot of,
Is that like Artemisia right there or something?
yep, yep.
Mugwort
Yep.
or
No, that
wormwood?
one is Luviciana,
Oh, okay.
the silver sage. I've got a couple different kinds of Artemisias here. My favorite Artemisia now growing is the Artemisia annua, the
okay.
Sweet Annie.
Oh, yeah.
Which I did not mean to have growing in my garden, but we used to do cut flowers years ago and it got planted as a filler. And I knew like, oh, well, it's an Artemisia, I should probably, not let it seed. And I didn't do that. And the next spring, I'm like, there are millions of seedlings.
It's one of your faves now, though?
But now, I think it's really interesting to have. You know much about it, like how
No.
it's like it's used, in other countries for like malaria,
Oh, okay.
and now it's being used for Lyme, and there's a lot of that here.
Okay.
So that's kind of interesting, and so this is where a lot of this, and this is all just kind of like influx. When I first started growing, I had neat little beds.
Yeah.
And this was here, and this was here,
Yeah.
and this was here, and then everyone now it grows where it wants.
I like this going on right here. Well, was that intentional? Yeah.
I mean, I love
Rocks.
bones.
Yeah.
And I love stones.
Yeah,
and
bones and stones.
Bones and stones. They end up coming around. But-
Valerian?
Yep, that's some valerian. Yeah.
Nice.
This little bed is one of the oldest ones, so it ends up being a little bit of a mishmash. But I actually transplanted. This is not where you would normally find like bloodroot.
Yeah.
But there were some in the paths that I wanted to get out because I knew they'd, be dead if
Right.
I didn't move them. So I'm
Right.
like, I'm just going to toss them right here. And they actually grow.
Wow.
And I found that with a few other things too. Like I have one little patch of black cohosh here, and it's like I usually think of that as being more of a woodland plant. But it's doing better here than back in my patches in the woods. And it might just be because of our climate.
Yeah.
It needs a little more.
Right.
Could be that our woods are a little too dense,
Yeah.
the older forests.
Sure.
But, yeah. So, I mean, you can imagine what it looks like in the summer.
Yeah.
Like right now, pretty much what is left is getting all the roots out.
Yeah.
And
Some are still blooming though, yeah. I mean,
yeah, there
got
are
some
still a
borage
few
and-
things, and I'm kind of done at this point. I need to transition away from that, and hopefully next week is going to be starting ferments and starting getting roots out of the ground.
Yep.
But I've definitely harvested with snow
Wow.
as well. So I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But I'd like to avoid that this year.
Sure.
But it's not just the tinctures that I make. I like to do fresh tinctures, so I have to be able to harvest and get it processed
Yeah. Same
all
day.
at the same time.
Yeah.
But rhodiola is a really fun thing that I grow here, and once I found out, or I heard like circumpolar Arctic adaptogen, I'm like, yes, I want to grow that plant. I want that one. And it grows great here. And I love starting it because we make maple syrup. And so in March, when we start the syruping process, I plant the rhodiola seeds and I cover the flats with snow, and I leave them on my mudroom roof, and I just keep putting snow on top of them until
Wow.
the snow is all gone, and then I put them in the hoop house and they germinate.
Wow.
So I think that's pretty
So
cool.
the rodeo is not growing out here though.
Well, there
or
is some rhodiola.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can't really see much of it right now because it just needs to come out. But see, these are it's so beautiful
Oh.
when it's blooming, but these
So you're
are,
making fresh rhodiola tincture
I make
here.
fresh rhodiola tincture, yeah.
That's awesome.
And then I also dry some and put it in one of my tea blends.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
And the first time I harvested it, and I was in the pack shed washing it, I was thinking, God, it's supposed to smell like roses, but it doesn't smell like roses. And you know, a little while later, one of the farmers walked in. It's like, "What smells like roses?"
Oh.
I'm like, "Okay."
So it's just
great."
you.
I mean, it smells like roses,
Okay.
but not like roses.
Right.
So.
Rhodiola rosea.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of those in here. There's some scattered in through the crazy rose bush.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna harvest a bunch of the astragalus. I have like different little patches.
Oh, this is all astragalus?
These are all
Yeah.
astragalus, yeah, with a few motherworts in there. I mean, there's yellow dock all over. There's burdock all over.
Yeah, I saw some burdock over
Yeah,
there.
we have no
yeah, right
shortage
there.
of nettles. I mean, are everywhere.
Yeah.
So this is not a few leftover oats.
Oh, little oats.
Yep. Oh, look, a little mugwort right here.
Oh.
Nice. Watch out for the burdocks.
Oh, wow. So colorful.
I know. And then when I was in here the other day, I'm like, "Oh, nice. A little more liquid bulb."
yeah, there you go.
You know, just,
Yeah.
yeah, and there's a few motherwort growing in our pepper house. So that was pretty, that's just kind of happened.
So vibrant.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this.
Now you look like a farmer.
Exactly. The real deal. Awesome.
Yeah. And so right now, like, we'll end up taking some of the plastic off just because of the snow load.
Oh, yeah.
But then we plant some things that, like spinach and cilantro, that will overwinter, like will grow for a little bit, go dormant, and then when the days start warming up and getting longer, like in March, then it starts to grow again. So then we have fresh greens, even though we have feet of snow. We
Right.
can start harvesting fresh greens in March.
So when the winter
April.
comes, you do take all the plastic
Not
off?
off of all, most off of most of them.
Okay.
We leave it on a few of them.
I see. Okay.
Yep. Just the ones that we overwinter. The
Snow
stuff-
load.
Yep.
I'll be learning all about that, I'm sure.
Yeah, so those are our chickens are in that little portable coop. So they also, just like how Jeff was saying, we
Oh, yeah.
rotate the everything else. They also just get pulled. You hook it up to the tractor and you just pull the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to let them be a little more free range, but there's too many predators.
I was going to ask, okay.
Especially for the chickens, like the eagles and the hawks and the owls who are really getting the chickens.
They just fly away with them.
Yeah, and so we, they're still on the earth, but they're like protected. We have that shade cloth, so that's like they're outside, but we're protecting them.
Sure.
We use like oats as a cover crop a lot. So like this was potatoes, and now there's already oats growing there.
Yeah. Does that help replenish the soil
It helps
too?
replenish the soil, so then it will end up getting tilled in, but it also helps against erosion. And so those obviously won't grow enough for me to be able to harvest that batch, but usually there's always a batch. So, I mean, I think milky oats are great.
Yeah, it's one of my, it's probably my most consumed herb for
Really?
sure. Yeah, oat straw at least. Yeah,
Yep.
lots of infusions.
The first time that I tried the milky oats tincture, like I just tried it and went, I'm like, oh, okay.
Herbs work.
Yeah, great. Got some
Little grape tunnel.
Yep. Grapes and hops and
Can I try one of these grapes?
yeah, absolutely. They're close.
Oh, they're not quite
Well,
there.
yeah, try some of those. Those are probably pretty close.
That's
They
delicious.
usually need a couple of
Tastes like Welch's grape juice.
yes.
Yeah,
They usually need a couple of frosts before they get really sweet, but they're pretty close.
that's really good.
Yeah.
Have you ever made wine with them?
I have.
Awesome.
And it tastes like Welch's grape juice.
I guess it's the species.
Yeah.
Variety.
Yeah. And so if you really like a good red wine, these aren't
that's
the
jam.
ones for
All
that, but it makes amazing grape juice or grape jelly.
Oh yeah, I bet.
And just snacking on them, they're just
Yeah.
lovely.
That was very tasty. Amanda liked.
The texture too.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
I've heard the seeds are actually super nutritious too. What's that constituent in them? Anyways, I just ate the seed too.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, some extra goodness there.
Yeah. No shortage of goodness.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Now we've got nettles growing in here. I mean, there's like, you can find things everywhere. Like, oh, there's some oregano. And I was over here the other day. I'm like, oh, there's some peppermint still. And there used to be Codenopsis growing here, but now I have that growing up in the other one.
Codenopsis, yeah. I think I read that was called poor man's ginseng or something.
Ginseng.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I used to consume that a lot.
Poor man's ginseng?
Yeah, the
Really?
Codenopsis, yeah. When I first started Mountain Rose Herbs, they would sell that in dried, cut, and sifted. I don't think they've had it in years in stock, but yeah, I liked it. I thought it felt really good in my body.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, ginseng was kind of one of my gateway herbs for sure.
Yeah.
And I have some growing,
Okay.
but and I have found one in the wild in the UP.
Wow.
One wild
Wow.
ginseng, which is
Okay.
pretty cool. I actually thought I was going to pay off my med school debt by
Harvesting
selling
ginseng. How'd that go?
No, not very well. I mean, it's a little harder to grow than you
Sure.
think, even though it does grow here.
It grows here, and is it in the woods where it's growing?
I have it, planted in
Nice.
the woods.
Awesome.
But I'm probably I don't sell that at this point.
Right.
Like
It's for personal enjoyment. I
yeah,
get it.
yep,
Yeah.
until I can figure it out a little bit better. And
Totally.
it takes so long, like to grow
Right.
it how we're growing, it's usually like 12 years
Oh.
before you can harvest it versus like, in Wisconsin, have you seen some of those big
I haven't yet.
those
I
big
think
ginseng
Amanda
farms?
has,
I mean, they grow it in like 3 years.
Wow.
But you can tell by the little nubs on the top.
Yeah.
You can tell if you look at a ginseng root like how old it is.
Okay. Yeah.
And so the quality of that type is not as high as like the true woods grown.
Right. That makes
old
sense. Yeah.
ginseng, but I'm gonna keep working on that.
Totally. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll stay tuned. Sweet.
Can I pack you up a box of produce to bring home?
That would be fabulous. Thank you
Yeah?
so much.
Yeah, let's get you.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, and why don't we go back inside and we'll finish up the interview? Thank you for that farm tour. That was lovely. I'm kind of curious about your herbalism background. Like, again, we saw you at the Great Lakes Herb Fair. You're growing herbs. You're making herbal products. Did you study herbalism formally at all?
Not formally.
Yeah.
I kind of got into herbalism first through food, and just connection with food, and then spending time out just in nature and getting to know. I love identifying, plants, and then it's like, oh wow. So it kind of got me down that road. I started reading more about herbalism actually when I was in med school, and I was like learning this pharmaceutical method of medicine, and then I'm reading about herbal medicine, and so I've kind of figured out how to combine one background with another. And the Great Lakes Herb Fair was I wanted to go for years, but it's hard to get down there. I mean, for me, it was 7.5 hours, and
Right.
and it's like a busy time of the year, September.
Yeah. I have to ask, since I have you here, have you ever been on that ferry from Milwaukee to the other side?
No.
Okay, we were debating that, but hey, it's super expensive, and I think it would have taken us longer anyways to get there.
Yeah.
But, all right. Well, any herbal, not mentors per se, since you didn't study formally, but like from books or online, are there any mentors that you kind of, herbal teachers that you kind of keep going back to?
One, we used to go to, now it's called Marble Seed, but we used to go to the Moses, which is an organic farming conference.
When I worked for Mountain Rose Herbs, we sponsored that event every year. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's where I met Linda Conroy
Oh,
and Jane Holly Stevens back in the day. And so just to know that there were other people doing that was really cool. And Linda's, as you know, she founded the Midwest Women Herbal Conference, and I've been going to that for, 10, 11 years
Oh,
or
awesome.
so.
Very cool.
And so that's where I've met a lot of the herbalists that then I've, chosen to either do other coursework or, getting their books and things like that.
That event's been going on for a long time.
It's been probably about
At least a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably about 14 years
Oh, wow.
or so. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
Okay.
Something like that.
Yeah, she's in our neck of the woods.
Yeah.
And then Jane Holly Stevens, I actually just have been communicating with her. She's going to be on the Herbalist Hour
cool.
soon. So yeah, I've never met her, but I'm
She
excited.
was at the Great Lakes Herb Fair.
Really? Oh,
Yes.
okay. Well, we missed her.
Yeah.
Hi, Jane. Excited to have you on the show.
So, I mean, they were really great for me to meet
Yeah.
because they were like local,
Okay.
more local people, since, there wasn't a lot of that going on up
There's
here.
herbalists everywhere.
It's just like connecting with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Coming from, Eugene, Oregon, where it seems like there's an herbalist on every street corner, but I wasn't sure what to expect when I came out to the Midwest, but there's just as many herbalists, totally.
I had done some studying with Rosita Arvigo.
Oh, nice.
And the one thing that was really interesting is that I was excited to learn some of the herbal things that she was doing, but I didn't really ever end up connecting to it. Mm-hmm. And it's just because I didn't know the plants.
Right.
But I didn't know that at the
Right.
time. I just remember wanting to know more, or even I just couldn't connect in that way. So
As in she was using plants that were kind of foreign to you.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, I live in the North. It's
Right.
very different. It's a different place, and it's just fun to know that there are plants growing all over that have similar, medicinal properties.
Totally.
And so the ones here are really important,
Yeah.
for me,
Absolutely.
and probably for the people living here. I like having them. I like teaching people about things that are growing here or what they can grow here.
Right.
And if someone's really connected to a plant or really it's helping them, I want them to grow it for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's kind of wrap things up. Kind of curious, what do you love about the Upper Peninsula? Because I got to say, going to Wisconsin, totally fell in love with Wisconsin. And then driving north, I'm like, oh man, it's just so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I really love the people and the culture. Just being at Black Rock's Brewery last
Mm-hmm.
night, I was like, it's just such good vibes. And so I could totally see how someone would just fall in love with this area. But
Mm-hmm.
from your perspective.
So, it's almost hard to answer because there's so many things I love
Sure.
about it. I love that it's left off of a lot of maps. Which is kind of a joke in this community, but there are sometimes it's not even on the map. I think that's pretty cool. But all four of my grandparents and both my parents were born and raised in the UP. So as a kid, my summer vacations to visit the grandparents were coming to the UP.
Okay.
And so it's always been very special to me in that way. But, we were looking for community, and, we moved here and we found so many folks that we just loved.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really hearty and unique and hardworking, resilient folks up here.
Totally. With winter coming, this will be like my first real Midwest winter. Do you get excited for winter, and kind of if so, why?
I love winter.
Okay. Does it mean you get a rest?
I'm learning that.
Yeah.
That's a new skill.
Sure.
Learning to rest a little bit in the winter. In previous years, I'd go from farming to homeschooling, and so it was never really that much of a rest. But now that I'm not doing that anymore,
Yeah.
I'm learning some of that. But I'm a very avid backcountry skier.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And so I can strap on my skis and go out my front door and ski as long as I want.
What do you love about cross-country skiing? And also, do you do snowshoeing?
I do have snowshoes, but I definitely am more of a skier
Yeah.
than a snowshoer.
Okay.
And I love that in the winter I can go to different places on our land that I can't really access as well during the summer.
Yeah.
And so, I can ski up and down along the river. And in the summer, it's very overgrown, or the mosquitoes are really
Right.
bad. And, we're really busy on the farm. So I love that. And every time it snows, it's like a reset. Yeah. And I love making trails through the snow because it's just like reset.
Yeah.
Reset.
I can't wait. Yeah, I think we're gonna dabble with a little snowshoeing. Maybe I'll give cross country skiing a try. I don't know.
Yeah.
Seems like there might be a higher barrier to entry with that one. Like
Well,
you need all the proper equipment or something. But
Yeah, maybe, but
maybe. Okay.
it's I love gliding over the surface of the earth. It's kind of like swimming,
Yeah.
but
All right, you sold me.
Yeah.
I'll give it a shot. Awesome. Well, do you have any, post-winter, do you have any like exciting projects coming up for the farm or just anything you're excited about in general?
oh man.
The to-do list is never ending, I'm sure.
The to-do list is never ending. We're excited to just kind of come to this like next level about what do we want to do next? How do we want to steer the farm? We've been working 7 days a week since for
You need a
months
winter
now.
break.
So just kind of recreating it and making sure that we're doing all the things we're really passionate about. All of the herbal stuff is really my gig.
Totally.
And so it might be nice to have someone help me do that a little bit. Yeah. But in the winter time, that's when I get to like press all the tinctures or like get things ready for like the next season or blend all the teas that I've been drying all season.
Are you looking for an apprentice?
Potentially.
Okay. All right.
Potentially. We'll just kind of have to see. Those are all things
sure.
we're kind of figuring out. Yeah. We're also trying to get a little more into education and teaching now, because we're kind of at that stage now. Like, okay, we've done this for a long time. Yeah. We have a lot of things to share.
Totally.
A lot of unique perspectives with our different backgrounds.
Well, I remember talking to Elise and Jeff Higley, Oshala Farm. Shout out Oshala Farm, presenting sponsor of the Herbalist Hour. I remember they were passionately talking about there needs to be like an herb farming conference. I don't know if anything ever came to fruition with that, but you seem like someone who would be a great teacher.
Yes.
And Jeff as well. So yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, let's get that rolling. Let's create a
and Jane Holly Stevens too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I just remembered a question I wanted to ask you, so
Okay.
I want to make sure to squeeze this in there. For the budding herbalist that's interested in farming as a, say, like a lifestyle or career path, do you have any advice for that person?
I would say start small.
Yeah.
And
Such good advice.
Start, and just have faith.
Yeah.
That you can keep doing it. And also don't take the weather personally.
Especially if you're in Marquette.
Every year some things do great and other things don't.
Yeah.
And so diversify.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
I think that, that's kind of how we've done our farm. And it's the true with some of the herbs, like some years you're like, wow, that just is doing so great. And, and something else is like, wow, that didn't do so well.
Totally.
But it's so fun.
You have a genuine fun time doing this work.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I love it. And because I have the least amount of time to spend on the herb portion, it makes it extra special. I love like every Saturday coming back from the market, I always kind of do my little tour and go walk around a little bit and kind of get a little mental picture of what I need to do.
Yeah.
And I think because of having these the way that our farm is set up, like I can be watching something and say like, oh, this is peak. I need to get this harvested. And if I miss it, it's usually growing somewhere else that'll have another chance and it will kind of show up.
It's magic.
It is pretty magic.
Yeah. So diversify and start small. That's just good life advice in general. And I have to say that I give people the same recommendation because that's kind of how HerbRally was. You start super small and build over time.
Yeah,
so,
small and sustainable.
That's right.
And speaking of magic,
Yeah.
I just like to say Robin Rose Bennett has been a huge influence to make sure that the magic part is there, magic and ritual, which is really important for someone like myself who's come from a constituent-based herbalism
doctor
practice to like embracing, all of it.
I love it. I just interviewed Robin Rose Bennett, and
did
I
you?
adore her.
I adore her as well.
She's one of my favorites for sure. So
Yeah, First met her about like 10 years ago.
Wow.
And
Me too.
She and my daughter kind of developed a special relationship. And so, she's just very dear.
I will leave a link in the podcast show notes. She just came out with a new book. I don't know if you saw that or not, but it's
already
all about the
ordered it.
magic. So, okay. You ordered it. All right, good. Sweet. Well, thank you for joining me on the Herbalist Hour, joining all of us on the Herbalist Hour. Did you have any like closing thoughts or anything you want to say to the audience? You?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Just going to put you on the spot.
Well, thank you for what you're doing.
Of course.
And it seems to me like a really fun job that you've created yourself.
Yeah, I like this.
To be able to go and meet and hear everybody's unique stories.
Totally. Yeah.
Because everyone's on a different path,
Totally.
but all kind of with this similar, get the plants out there.
Yeah, it's been really nice to get to meet all the different perspectives of the herbalists, and I think this might be one of our first few times we've interviewed a farmer. And I just wanted to say, when you were giving the advice to the budding farmer, potential farmer, you said it brought to mind when I asked other herbalists like what their herbal business advice is, or what would they like to see more of in the herbal world, and they say we need more herbal farmers. So I can't really speak to that because I'm not an herb farmer myself, and I'm not sure what the business side of that looks like. But I will say that if your heart's calling you to do it, you could be a very vibrant person like Leanne here and Jeff. They're doing awesome work. Every time you hang out at a farm like this, you just feel like the buzz of life and everything. So great work, and thanks for sharing all that you did today.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
awesome. See you in the next episode. Thanks so much for watching today's episode of the Herbalist Hour. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want more great herbal content, be sure to subscribe to our HerbRally YouTube channel. If you enjoy these Herbalist Hour episodes and you'd like to join us live, you can do so by becoming an HerbRally Schoolhouse member. Learn more at herbrally.com/schoolhouse. And if you want to get your first 30 days for free, use coupon code YouTube30 at checkout. So our HerbRally Schoolhouse members get access to exclusive video classes, monographs, and a lot more herbal community discounts, along with joining these live Herbalist Hour interviews. So one more time, herbrally.com/schoolhouse. Enter coupon code YouTube30 at checkout to get your first 30 days for free. All right, we'll see you in the next episode, and take care.